You downplay your talents, you brush off compliments, you convince yourself you're not that special. Even when deep down, you want to believe you're enough. Let me tell you something that might hurt a little. You didn't start out doubting your worth. Someone, maybe many people, taught you to. And the worst part? You started agreeing with them. But that ends today. Because deep inside, you've always known there's more to you. You've always felt that flicker of light, even when the world tried to dim it. That flicker is your truth. It's your inner knowing that says, there's something here worth honoring, and no one can take that from you unless you let them. This video isn't about fixing you. You were never broken. It's about remembering the parts of you that got buried under shame. Let's unearth them, let's meet you again, and this time, let's not look away. We learn to undervalue ourselves the same way we learn anything else, through repetition. Repeated criticism, repeated rejection, repeated silence when we needed support. Maybe someone told you to be realistic when you dreamed too big. Maybe someone only loved you when you succeeded. Maybe you were compared to others so often, you started believing you weren't enough on your own. So you began shrinking in subtle ways. You say, I'm lucky, instead of, I worked hard. You say, it's not a big deal, when it actually meant the world to you. You over-apologize, over-explain, over-perform. Why? Because if you keep yourself small, you think maybe they'll accept you. Maybe they won't leave. But here's the truth, shrinking doesn't keep you safe. It just keeps you stuck. We learn to shrink to survive, to fit into boxes we never chose. We shrink to avoid rejection, to feel belonging, to not rock the boat. But eventually, that smallness becomes suffocating. You start saying, yes, when you mean, no. You laugh when something actually hurts. You praise others while staying silent about your own brilliance. We do it because we were told that humility means invisibility. But real humility is owning your worth without the need to prove it. And that begins with seeing the difference between being humble and being hidden. You can be kind and still speak your truth. You can be generous and still take up space. You can celebrate others without abandoning yourself. When you undervalue yourself, you underlive your life. You settle for less in relationships. You say yes when you want to scream no. You wait to be picked instead of choosing yourself. You don't apply for the job. You don't speak your truth. You water down your brilliance so you won't make waves. But dimming your light doesn't protect you from rejection. It just guarantees that you'll never feel fully seen. The truth is, the world benefits when you show up fully. But first, you have to believe that you benefit too. Every time you undervalue yourself, you teach others to do the same. You allow behavior you'd never want a loved one to tolerate. And your energy attracts what you believe you deserve. It's not selfish to raise your standards. It's sacred. Because when you value yourself, everything around you rises with you. You begin speaking with more conviction. You start walking with more clarity. You attract people, opportunities, and love that match your worth. But nothing changes on the outside until something shifts on the inside. And that shift begins with a choice, to stop settling. To stop shrinking, to stop dimming what was never meant to be hidden. You are not meant for a life that feels like survival. You are meant to live, to feel, to shine. And that starts the moment you stop apologizing for who you are. Most of us learn self-worth from how we were treated, not how we truly are. If you were only praised when you performed, you equate love with achievement. If you were ignored when you were sad, you learn to hide your needs. If you were punished for expressing anger, you learn to bottle it up and turn it inward. This isn't about blaming your past, it's about understanding it. Because once you see the pattern, you can choose something different. You are not the child anymore. You are the adult now. And you get to reparent that version of you who thought being small was the only way to feel safe. You get to tell them, you matter, even when you're messy. Even when you don't achieve. Even when you feel afraid. Healing starts when we stop performing and start listening to ourselves. We have to look at what we internalized. Was love conditional? Was success the only path to praise? Did silence feel safer than truth? The way we were raised becomes the way we treat ourselves. but it doesn't have to stay that way. You can teach your nervous system a new rhythm. You can give yourself what you never received. You can look in the mirror and say, I see you. I've got you now. This isn't easy work, but it's liberating. And every time you choose yourself, you're breaking a cycle, one generation at a time. Here's something powerful. The moment you see your own value, everything changes. Not because the world gives you more, but because you stop asking for permission. You speak differently, you stand differently, you attract differently, people feel your shift, because energy doesn't lie. Start with this. Write down what you admire in others. Then ask, do I allow myself to be that, too? Chances are, the answer is no, not yet. But that's the invitation, to start treating yourself with the same awe, respect, and kindness you so freely give away. You don't become valuable when someone else notices you. You're valuable the moment you notice yourself. Practice seeing your light, catch yourself when you minimize your wins. Learn to accept compliments without deflecting them. Remind yourself that humility and confidence can coexist. You can be powerful and gentle, soft and strong. You don't have to choose between worth and kindness. You can be both. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more real people. People who know their flaws and love themselves anyway. People like you. Here's what no one tells you. Your worth is not up for debate. It's not earned through perfection. It's not tied to performance. It doesn't increase when someone finally sees you, and it doesn't disappear when someone doesn't. Your worth was never gone. You were just taught not to look. So here's the start of your unlearning. Stop asking for permission to exist at full volume. You don't need to be smaller to be loved. You don't need to be quieter to be safe. You don't need to be anything other than you to deserve space. You're not behind, you're awakening, and your journey back to yourself is sacred. If this touched something in you, subscribe. You're not broken, you're remembering. And you're finally coming home to yourself.